never said this pain would ever go away. Didn't know what it meant to.
Alright, hey guys. A lot of people have been asking for part 4 of my BlackJack, and I don't have BlackJack on my laptop anymore. I've gotten a new laptop for school. So I'm going to go over if statements and else if clauses, and that's basically what you need to do. I'll explain it as I go through it like I usually do, but this is all you need. I believe it's when you click check scores, what button you need to double click and write the code into it. So as you see me typing this code here, it's not going to it's going to underline because I don't actually have the form, or I don't have the buttons created. So I'm just doing this so you guys can actually get a feel for where to start, or kind of like, you know, program your own kind of style, kind of whatever you want kind of thing. So I'm just gonna make a new project here for myself. So I'll just put a button on here so if my computer starts being slow, and I'll just name it check score. And also, if you guys want, like if you hit Alt on, like if you hit Alt right now on your studio, you'll see it comes up here, and it has an underline of a V, P, B of the first letter, or as you can see, like here, it's the second letter of format, and usually exit is X. So if you hold Alt and then click F, it'll bring down that drop down. So if you wanted views, you'd hold down your Alt key and you would click V, and it would pop down that. And if you want to do that for the buttons, you can just click Properties, and in front of the letter that you want them to press with the Alt key, just put an and sign, and it actually does it automatically. You can see it underlines there. So I just thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, double click on your check score, and we want a statement. So we want if, and then you want your statement to compare it, and then after that you want your message box, I believe, will pop up and say, or actually not a message box, it's on a label, and it'll come up and say you win, or you can actually have a message box pop up and say you won, or the computer's won, do you want to reset, and you know, go from there. So like I said, stuff's going to underline because I don't got it declared and I don't have it on the form. So if, let's just say I don't want that, player score is greater than computer score. So if player score is greater than computer score, but you gotta think though, we don't want it to, like, player score might be greater than computer score, but what if player score is over 21? So that means we're gonna have to have another if statement underneath that to check it. So if player score is greater than computer score, also you probably want .txt. Actually no, I just remember we used variables by adding them up. So anyways, and then you put then, and then you want another if statement under here checking if player scores like greater than, less than 21. So if player score is greater than 21. Also, it's a good idea to put constants too, guys. I don't know if I went over them, but at the very top of your form you can put const, and then you can declare it as an integer or double. In this case we want integers because 21 is an integer and not a double. So int as, that's the variable name, sorry. We'll put we'll just put 21 as integer equals 21. And what a constant does is, instead of typing hard coding 21 here, so we can put like 21 here. So instead of going through your programming, changing 21, say you want to change it to 22 for some reason, you would have to go through your whole program and switch 21 to 22. In this case, you can just switch the value here, and anywhere you have 21, it'll automatically switch it to the value of this. So it's really good if you write, I don't know, 1,000 lines of code and you want to change the tax rate, for example, from 0.13 to 0.15. You don't have to go through your whole code to switch that. You just use your constant and just change the value of it. So they're really good for that. They come in handy. So if player score is greater than 21, then we want a message box dot show. So this means if they're over, player score is over 21, we want the message box to pop up and say the computer's won, because you can't go over 21. And we also declared up here that if player score is greater than computer score, but then you get the statement where, well, what if computer score and player score and computer score are both over 21? What happens then? That means we're gonna have to check it again before we actually put this in here. So we also want to check. Actually, let's put an and computer score is less than 21. So we'll use our constant again. So that should work there. If player score is greater than 21 and computer score is less than 21, so we'll put message box dot show, and we'll say computer has won. You can put that in a label. You can do whatever you want. You can also have, like, I don't know really, but like you can have a message box, or input box would be even better, and you could pop it up and say computer is won, would you like to restart? And then you can click your restart button. You can have a restart button on the input message box or whatever. I'll make another tutorial on that when I have some more time, and I'll show you guys how that works out. It's pretty cool. So now we've checked if player score is greater than computer score. And so after this, basically what we want is an else if. So if the above statement is not true, it'll jump down to the else if. So else if computer score, let's say that. Basically what we want to do is just want to do the reverse of what we did up there. So we'll put computer score is greater than player score. I'm sorry for typos too. Don't seem to be typing too well today, but so computer score is greater than player score then. So we want another if statement in here, and it's the total opposite of up there. So just replace computer score, player score with computer score is greater than 21, and player score is less than 21. Then we want a message box dot show, and we'll put player as won. You can do that in any order you want. You can do the computer score first. It doesn't matter. It will always go and find the one that's true. So we get that. So now we want another else if. For what if they're the same score? So we'll check that. So we'll put player score is equal to computer score. And like I said, I'm just explaining how if statements work and else if statements, just so you guys can look at the program and kind of figure it out. I mean, like I said, I don't have it here. I would really wish I would have, so I can show you guys. But so else if player score equals computer score, then we'll put a message box dot show. In this case, no one would win. And then we put draw. Or if you want, you can make the computer always win, or you can make the player always win. It's up to you how you want the game to really work. I mean, it's your, you could always say your remake of BlackJack. So I mean, you know, throw your little spins on it, I guess. So, and then, like I said, I'm not going to go through every single possibility, because I honestly can't remember all of them. But anyways, like, so if this isn't true, if it's not true, it's not even going to go check this. Actually, it will check that. But if these two up here aren't true, it'll jump down to the else if. It'll always jump down to the else if. if these two aren't true. And same thing with this. If these two aren't true, it'll jump down to the else if. But if you guys did this and without the else if, and you put, let's just say for example, else, if it wants, no, it doesn't like that. Let's click away there. So if you put if and then you put an else, if this was true, it jumped down to this one and checked this. If that wasn't true, it would always do the else down here, no matter what. So if you had a message box dot show and you put player has won in that, you will always get this message as long as it runs this if statement here. But we don't want that because we want only one message box to show up. That's why we're using an else if. Because I use else's for a default kind of thing. Like if none of these right here were true, we would want to use an else. But in this case, we don't want an else because we want one message box to always pop up. So we put, just for example, else message box dot show. Else what I don't know, because you're not going to use it for your program. You'll use else ifs. And yeah, like I said, if these all aren't true up here, it'll always do this no matter what. And there's also another method, which is a switch. As I said, guys, I mean, if you guys have any questions, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm slacking a little bit on the videos, but I mean, I have school and there's been extreme amounts of assignments and studying and tests. So, I mean, I love helping you guys out. So just leave comments and inbox me if you have any questions, or just leave a comment and I will see what I can do for videos for other stuff. I mean, March break's coming up. I'm going to be studying and I'll hopefully make a few more videos to help you guys out. So, like I said, just leave comments down below on what you want me to do. Like I said, I'll go over input boxes and switches. They actually work very well. Only like certain spots for a switch, like instead of an if statement, it's a switch statement, but I personally like the if statements, but switches can be easier. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that cleared stuff up with the BlackJack, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Be here without you is everything you see.